Because baby, big AKA is expensive. Expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Arielle Shardae. If you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe so you can stay in tune with the Bad Gang per. So if you clicked on this video, obviously you're interested in joining a sorority or a fraternity on the graduate level. And baby, I'm here to spill the tea. Because when I crossed 5 years ago, there were no resources like this on YouTube. It was no one really spilling the tea and telling you exactly what you have to do to join. And of course, joining an organization on the graduate level, there's no linear route to doing that. But I hope you can take the tips that I'm going to tell you today to get into your dream organization. So let's get started. Okay guys, so I have my list below to just keep me on track, but I'm just gonna try to give it to you raw because that's the best way I know how to do it. Okay, number one, research. If you're at the point where you're trying to join a graduate chapter, you pretty much already know what organization that you're into. Maybe in college you couldn't join because either you weren't chosen at the time, maybe you didn't have the money, maybe they were off the yard at the time. It's several reasons why you didn't pledge in undergrad. But now you're ready, you're more mature, you're out of school, you maybe have a little bit more coins to spend because Lord knows, and I'm gonna touch on that, graduate chapter is not cheap. Please don't go into the inspection thinking, oh yeah, I'm just gonna get in and that's gonna be that. Staying active and financial and actually living the principles that your founders, your potential founders, I should say, lived by, it costs money, it costs coins, okay? The most important thing that you have to remember that on the graduate level, this is a business. It's completely different than undergrad. I'm gonna say that again. Please don't go into graduate chapter thinking that you're going to relive your undergrad fantasies. And I'm telling you that as somebody who crossed that 25, who is extremely young, or I'm not even gonna say extremely young, but what's considered young for a graduate soror, right? You cannot relive that time. You have already graduated college, you've matriculated onto adulthood, you're past that time. So please, again, get it through your head because a lot of people were disappointed. I can be transparent, I was disappointed. It's nothing like undergrad. You need to understand that graduate chapter is a business. It is the business of XYZ organization, and you are helping to perpetuate that. So after you understand that, and you still would like to pursue the chapter of your choice or the organization of your choice, the next thing that you want to do is research the specific requirements for graduate intake membership of said organization. You can do this by going to the national website of said organization. So for example, on mine, of course, you had to have a 4-year degree to be considered a graduate member. So you have your 4-year degree, you had to have a certain GPA requirement, you had to have a certain community service requirement. There were several different things that you needed to be considered for membership. So you want to go on the corporate website and jot down all those things. Literally do it like a checklist, guys. Go down the list and say, yes, I have the degree, I have the community service, I have the GPA. Once you know that you fit the minimum requirements, the next step is getting to know that chapter. Luckily, in this day and age, in 2022, most of all of the chapters that you're interested in, the chapters, because there's several different chapters in your city. Unless you're in a small town, most of those chapters will have a website. And on that website, under the events tab, they'll list all the public events that you can attend. Guys, this is where you need to get to work, okay? Especially now, being in a pandemic is so much easier because everything is virtual. You can go to these events and get to know the members. Now, when I crossed 5 years ago, everything was in person. And I was actually physically going to the events, getting to know the members. They would always see my face. Guys, I was always around to the point that when the line was actually coming out, 2 members came up to me and said, hey, we see you at everything. We just want to make sure you're good because we are having a line coming out and you have to be on it. That's how much facial recognition that you want to have within your respective potential organization. The members need to know you. They need to know your face. They need to know that you're about business, and they need to know that you're ready to put in the work because nobody wants to bring in a t-shirt wearer, guys. Nobody wants to just like put their name, because you are literally putting your name on the line for your candidate when you're bringing them in. And if you're getting to know somebody and wanting them to sponsor you, You don't want to be a dud. You don't want to be lazy. You don't want to be somebody that they regret bringing in. So make sure that this is all genuine, that you're showing your face, you're at the events, you're getting to know the members, or if you're still in a virtual environment, that you're going to all the virtual events, you're speaking, you're raising your hand to speak on the events, and you're just getting to know the members. That's really the simplest and easiest part. Make genuine connections with the members. Let them know you. Let them recognize your face. Let them remember your name. Let them say, hey, well, Arielle, I know her because she's always at our community service events. She's always helping us clean up the park. She's always helping us pack backpacks. She brought soap to the sorority house to help with our fundraiser. All types of things like that, okay? That's how you get the members to make these genuine bonds with you. Now, let me give y'all a don't. Because, baby, I'm not even gonna say who raised y'all because I'm first generation. I didn't know a lot of these things. And I was actually very thirsty as well, so I get it. But now that I know and I'm on the other side, I'm telling you what not to do. What not to do is to not know somebody at all and write them on social media saying, hey, Arielle, I heard that your chapter was having a line and I would like to go out to coffee to get to know you. Guys, that's weird. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's just like, for example, somebody you don't know saying, hey, I want to go pick your kid up from school tomorrow. Is that cool? Like, isn't that weird? If you don't know somebody to do something that personal, why are you messaging them on social media, asking them to bring you in their organization that they fought blood, sweat, and tears for when they don't know you? It's weird, guys. Don't do that. And see, this is my thing. You wouldn't have to be DMing members if you were showing your face and people knew you. They would already know you. I was extremely familiar with the women who are interested in joining my sorority because they came to everything. And that's another thing that you guys have to remember. Just by showing your face at our events, you're showing your interest. Even if you're a little bit shy to talk to people, just by being there, we know that you're interested. A lot of times we have sign-in sheets to our events, so we know who's coming to the events. We know you're interested. It's going to be up to you to forge these genuine relationships with the members, okay? So that's step one, get to know us. Okay, so the next thing that you wanna make sure is on point is your service resume. If you're ever so lucky to get invited to join these organizations or to attend a rush for one of these organizations, you wanna make sure that your credentials are on point. You wanna have lots of service on your background. You have to keep in mind at the end of the day, these organizations are service-based and that's what we stand on. So you wanna make sure that you have a strong resume with that. At the time that I pledged, I was the lead of the Atlanta Young Professionals organization. I volunteered and did community service with the chapter. I did community service with United Way. I was also helping out with Girl Scouts. I had a multifaceted service background. So on my application, I was able to list all those things. And I had so many things to list that I had to attach an additional paper to my resume and application. So you want to seem like you're that girl or that guy when it comes to service. Like you want to be on point. Because to me, I feel like if you go through a candidate's packet and they just have like maybe one service thing, it's just like, okay, did you just do this to join the organization or is this really in your heart? So you want to make sure that your service is on point. So if you're thinking about joining a chapter and you maybe don't have any type of service background, look into some local things that you can do, some local soup kitchens or any type of thing like Girl Scouts, like I mentioned, Junior League, something that you can volunteer with so you can have that background on your resume. Okay, so I definitely want to really quickly put out this disclaimer. Some people go to events for years and never get invited to join. That's just life. That doesn't mean that you will never be a part of the organization. Maybe now it's just not your time. So keep that in mind. Like I said earlier, this advice is not linear. Some people are going to get in that you have never ever seen at an event one time just because they know somebody. Okay? That's just the reality. But if you don't know anyone, hopefully you can take these tips and build a genuine relationship with someone to get invited for membership. So that's my disclaimer. Moving on. Okay, next you want to make sure that your reputation is on point. Once again, you're either going to go to a rush where it's going to be over 2,000 women there or men and you have to get chosen, or if you go to an informational, what people hear about you and what they think about you, especially on the graduate level, is everything. People think just because it's the graduate level, everybody gets in. That's not true. There are things that can be said or rumors that can be started that can stop you from getting an invitation to membership. So you want to make sure in your everyday life that you appear to be a good, prudent, responsible person. We're adults, and of course, no one can tell us what to do. But when you're trying to pledge these prestigious organizations, you want to make sure that you're on point, especially on social media. It's so funny because when I got to the point where I knew I would probably be receiving an invitation, my line sisters and I, well, they weren't my line sisters yet, but they were going to be for sure. And I knew it in my heart. But what we did is we all went on each other's Instagram and Facebooks, and we just like went through it picture by picture. And we're like, delete that, hide that, delete that. Because some of these organizations will actually go on your social media and try to figure out who you are. Matter of fact, on the application, they ask you for like your LinkedIn, your Instagram, etc. Do you really want to have a booty out picture in a thong while these people are going through your resume? And you can have all of this accomplishment or all these accomplishments. You can be a doctor, you can be a lawyer, whatever. And that one booty picture is going to have people looking at you sideways when they don't even know you. You have to keep in mind that your social media presence is everything, especially when you're trying to join these organizations. So it's very key to just have just a classy, presentable, relatable, friendly, open social media. And girl or boy, I'm gonna just give y'all a pro tip. Put your social media on private. Just put it on private. If you don't want to delete those pictures or hide them until the process is over, go on private so nobody can look at your stuff. But if you do have a public presence, make sure it's on point, okay? Make sure when people Google you that good things are coming up. Of course, you know, you can't have any type of record trying to join these organizations. You do have to have a clean record. So if you do have something like that was not expunged, unfortunately, you will not be offered a membership until that is cleared. However, as far as social media, guys, just make sure you're on point. Don't post anything that you wouldn't want your parent or someone to see that was important to you, because unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, these organizations do check your social media. Okay, guys, and also you need to know your why. So you know that all of your life you want it to be an AKA or whatever else, but why? What is your why? What are you going to bring to the organization? Why do you feel that being a member will enrich your life? What are you going to do to enrich the ideals and goals of the organization? You always need to have your why in your head, because I think a lot of times, well, at least I know for me and what a lot of other people do, they're going to ask you when they notice you're coming around, so why are you interested in my organization? And it can't be, oh, because my favorite color is pink and green. Because girl, wait, no, don't ever say that. Please don't ever say that. Have your reason. I would like to be a member of XYZ because, and I feel that I would bring this because. And when somebody is going to hit you with a rebuttal and say, well, we already have that. We already have the people who are doing service. We already have the people who are putting on programs. What extra are you going to bring? Guys, be prepared. I'm telling you, when you get those tough questions, especially if you have to go through an interview round in a rush, or just even people who may potentially sponsor you for the interest meeting ask you these questions, you want to make sure that you have very clear, concise, honest, and humble answers to these questions, okay? We don't need, I mean, just what I said, we have all of those things. So what are you bringing extra to the organization? Have that in your head. That needs to be your why, your reason that we should offer you membership in the first place. Okay, babes, let's get into some cons, because with any Greek organization, you have to take the bitter with the sweet. If you know, you know, and if you don't, I hope you'll be able to find out soon. So in taking the bitter with the sweet, let's get into these cons, honey. Number one, and I said this earlier and I'm going to say it again because I don't want you guys to potentially get into your prospective organizations and say, Arielle did not tell me this. This is the 4th time I'm stating it because it's important. Are you ready? Graduate chapter is not like undergraduate chapter. You're not going to be strolling the yard 24/7, all in some undergrad's faces, going to homecoming, showing out, being around town, acting wild and reckless like you were an undergrad. You have to remember you're an adult now. We are past that time. We're about the business of our organization. Are we going to have fun? Absolutely. I just told y'all the pros. You're going to turn up. It's going to be lit. It's going to be a moment. And on top of that, you're in your dream organization. You finally have those letters on your chest. It's an amazing experience. But what's not clicking, Steven? You are not an undergrad anymore, okay? So listen, guys, I mean, I'm just trying to keep it very, 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 very clear for you. Do not be a 30-year-old man or woman walking around acting in an undergrad manner. Now, listen, that first year, you're going to be on super head-ass Neo mode, and that's okay, okay? Everything you do is going to have pink and green or whatever hearts. You're going to put it on every Instagram post. You're going to be extremely Greeky. You're going to be taking your pinky or whatever sign pictures with everybody. I get it. I did it. I was extremely annoying, so I understand. But guys, relax. Like, it's good to be happy. It's great to be happy. And listen, celebrate and express yourself in whatever way you want to, because nobody knows how hard you wanted this. Nobody knows how long you wanted this. Nobody knows how much you cried and just genuinely crave this. And now that it's here, celebrate how you want to. Just remember though, you are past the undergraduate level. And I'll just leave it at that. I feel like that's very self-explanatory. So yeah, you're not gonna live out your undergraduate goals in a grad chapter. You're all about the business of that org. That's number one. Okay, number two. This should have been number one because baby, what I recommend if you are thinking about joining a graduate chapter is having a savings account specifically for that organization. That should cover, you should have at least, I can't speak for everyone, but for my org, at least about $3,000 saved. Just, those are fees just to even get in. After that, in order to remain an active and financial member of your organization, you're gonna need to go to conferences, clusters, regionals, the local events that we have, the corporate events that we have, the national events that we have. I mean, of course, you're not required to go to any of that, but it's good if you would like to have that money put off to the side, because baby, big AKA is expensive. My organization, being in my organization on the graduate level is like having a child, and I don't have any kids. The money is going to the organization. The biggest thing that it's gonna go to, regardless of whether if you go to any conferences or events or not, is your corporate national dues that you pay every year. Mine are due in December. I already know, baby, that $417 coming out the account at the end of the year. Put it to the side. I don't even miss it because I know it's coming out every year. And I've been active in financial every year that I've been a member. So that's already thousands of dollars that I've spent on just being active in my org. So you have that yearly expense of your dues on top of any conferences and regionals and events. And baby, when you go to those events, the vendors get you every time. I'm trying to tell you, there's not one time that I went to an event that was on the corporate level, like such as a boule or regionals or whatever, and I didn't buy hundreds of dollars in like items, like, cause you know, girl, you got to get the gifts for your friends, and you may see a cute shirt. I don't really wear Nelia anymore, but just in case I saw something cute or like a little pin I wanted, I'm gonna buy it. So you have to have a budget for conferences to go to the vendors, a budget for the conferences themselves, and a budget to be active and financial every year. So don't think you're just gonna get in and not have to pay anything. I mean, if you're gonna be a t-shirt wearer, you already know in your head, you were just here to get your letters and dip, then yeah. But if you plan on being a prudent, active, and financial member of said organization, put some money to the side, child, because listen, them rainy days may come or may not come, but when they come, you gotta make sure that you're on point. Because at the end of the day, big AKA or big whoever else is gonna still be there, but you have to make sure that you can pay your bills and survive. So put the money to the side is my best advice, okay? Number 3, I came in my organization at 25, as I told y'all. I was considered a young soror. The oldest soror on my line was 66 years old. So if you think that you're gonna be taking these line pictures with just the young chickadees, it's not gonna happen. You're gonna have all types of age groups. And depending on the size of your line, I mean, regardless, I think that happens in undergrad as well. Like everybody kind of breaks off into their clique. Like we have a 20s clique and a 30s clique and a 40s clique and so on and so forth. You're just always going to branch off into the people you feel more comfortable with. And maybe you came on a small line and you're maybe the only young soror there. That can happen too. So keep in mind that it's not gonna be just 25-year-olds on the line. This is college educated men and women who have graduated college. They can be any age, you know, from 20 to 100, you know what I mean? So keep that in mind. That's something very important to keep in mind when you're thinking about the dynamics of the age of everyone. And really, honestly, I don't know why that's important, but I do understand wanting younger line sisters and line brothers around your age to do things with, especially when you come in young. That's just, I wanted that too, so I get it. But I'm just saying that to say, don't think it's just gonna be all young people. These are all college educated people of a certain age. Keep that in mind. Okay, the shade. The shade. I don't care how bad of a chick you are, how handsome of a dude you are, if you were that girl or that guy on campus, it's always gonna be a negative person to shade you for going grad. That's just life. People have an elitist, I don't know, they're just elitist people in general. And they're gonna shade you about being grad. It has happened to me plenty of times. Even with me being that girl, okay? It has happened. Some people are just gonna feel like they're better than you because they crossed undergrad and you didn't. And they don't know your process. They don't know what you did to get there. They don't know how hard you worked. They don't know the battles you fought to be where you are now. And guess what? I'm just gonna put it this simple. An undergrad member and a graduate member are on the same exact level. They have the same exact letters. They have the same exact founders. They have the same exact principles. Don't ever, 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 if you are so lucky to join, let anyone make you feel a type of way for going grad. Don't ever let anybody do that to you, because your letters on your chest are the same as the undergrad's letter on their chest. But I mean, you have to have a thick skin. People are going to shade you, especially, like I said, coming in young. They're going to be like, oh, where did you cross? And then when you say grad chapter, oh, okay. Okay. You know, like you'll get the little nice, nasty shade like that. Just be prepared, guys. I mean, it's not going to always happen, but if it does, just let it go off your shoulders. It doesn't matter. You're a member just like they are, babe. So, but the gag is I'm probably active in financial and you haven't been active in financial since you graduated college. Tell the truth and shame the devil. Okay? Don't worry about that, y'all. Don't worry about it. Really the only other cons that I can think of, I would say just being transparent. Everybody's not gonna vibe and gel with their chapter. Of course, you're blessed to be in your chapter. They're the people that brought you in this organization, but you're not always gonna get along with your chapter. You might definitely have problems with your line, even on the graduate level. That doesn't end. Pettiness doesn't end, and bullshit and drama doesn't end just because you cross on the graduate level. That's the truth. You know, you're gonna have maybe issues with your line, maybe issues with the chapter, maybe you don't like your leadership in your chapter. There's several different things that can occur. But I would say that's like at the very, very, very bottom of the list. I wouldn't be pressed or worried about that. That's just life, and it may happen or it may not happen. But I think the 4 that I named, those are like the main cons that I've experienced since being a graduate member. So I just wanted to give y'all the tea on that. Okay, so now that we got the negative out of the way, let's get into the positive. Being Greek is so much fun. And if somebody said otherwise, they're lying to you, baby, especially coming in young. It's so lit, y'all. Listen, it's a time. I've had the most fun that I've ever had in my life. Like so many more experiences that I would have never had if I wasn't Greek. So I don't regret anything, even though deep down inside, I do wish that I had the chance to pledge. When I was in undergrad, I didn't have the chance to pledge at all. And I do wish that I had that opportunity. But even though I'm grad, I still made the most of it and I maximized it. And I'm gonna tell you how. So, first things first. When you cross, you're in a worldwide network. You're always gonna have your sorors or your frat bros, always, right? You're always going to have that connection. You can go anywhere in the world and meet somebody in your prospective organization. There's been times where maybe something came to town and the soror was stranded or needed something, needed help, and there's been a soror to help her. I've been in groups where I remember a soror was stranded at the train station, and in the group they asked, was anybody, they were in Chicago, and they asked, was anybody in Chicago, even though it was a national group, and like, could someone go get that soror and let her stay over the night? And someone came and got her. Me being the only child, like that sisterhood aspect or brotherhood aspect that you will get is just mind-blowing to me. Just having that family worldwide and that network that you can lean on and depend on. It's an amazing feeling. I'm honored and blessed and so grateful to God that I'm able to experience that. Literally the networking opportunities. I've received jobs by meeting sorors from our organization. I've received jobs. I've received special things and free things at the airport. Maybe I'll have like, I don't know, like my name tag on my suitcase is an AKA tag. And someone will notice that I'm Greek even if we aren't in the same org and give me a perk at the airport. Like you have that network, okay? You're gonna be able to leverage that from getting jobs to having more opportunities to just having friends. That's an amazing resource to have. And that's an amazing resource to be a part of. So that's 100% a pro to me, just to have the networking opportunities that you receive once you join these organizations. And then if you're able to get a line number, you have a club. So for example, if you're 8, everybody all over the world, whoever is Greek and who's the 8, those are your clubs. So you have that connection. Of course, you know, when you join, you get more knowledge and you'll know like about like your stands and, you know, those are the people that have your same crossing year. You'll learn all of that, but you'll have those connections with those specific people. It's just like a never ending circle of litness, connections, networking, friends, opportunities that come from being Greek. So that's something that I absolutely love and take advantage of every day. Absolutely love being Greek. Okay, so next, the group chats. Okay, so even like I said earlier, if you're maybe the only young member or you're coming in and you don't really know anybody, child, that first week, you're gonna get added, depending on who you know, to all these group chats. And it'll be a group chat for like, I don't know, like a fraternity and sorority love, or maybe all sorority girls, all sorority boys. Like when you go to Greek events, it's all types of chats. The people that you're going to meet and the connections that you grow are just ongoing. Like, baby, those group chats, one of my very, very best friends to this day, I met in a soror and fraternity group chat. That's one of my closest friends to this day. So you genuinely make these connections, guys. The Greek parties, listen, baby. Greek picnic, a vibe. I tell everybody, you have to go to at least one Atlanta Greek picnic. I had so much fun. Guys, how it worked out for me, okay. So I crossed on the 11th. My birthday was the 14th. My first Greek picnic was that weekend. So baby, when I tell you it was up and stuck, like that first week of me crossing, I can't even put into words how lit that was. I can't even put into words what a moment that was. I had so much fun. I was like, I have waited and waited for years. I was out of college. When I crossed, I was out of college 4 years. So I waited all of this time for this to happen for me. And I soaked up every single moment, guys. I enjoyed it. I was living my best life, okay? I went to Atlanta Greek picnic and Nashville Greek picnic and Texas Greek picnic. Like, guys, listen, I was living my best life. And guys, when you get to go to those picnics, again, you're meeting people that you will know forever. I'm still friends with people that I met at my first Greek picnic 5 years ago. We are very close friends. So like you always have that connection. Guys, it's lit. You got people coming in from all over the nation to these parties and to this picnic. And y'all, it's a vibe. Like, you know, listen, everybody knows when you're a GDI and you're not Greek yet. We're on Atlanta Greek Picnic's page, watching the vibes, wishing you were a part. Like, listen, guys, it's a moment. Like, even if you're older, just go to the picnics and experience it because it's so much fun. It's nothing like seeing all those thousands of people strolling and lit, turn up, having fun, going to the after parties, etc. So that's a moment for you that you have to experience, period. What else? What else? Oh, of course, the biggest pro. Being a part of your dream organization that you hoped and wished and had blood, sweat, and tears and prayed to God for to be a part of. You're finally here. You're in that moment. All of your hard work paid off. You're able to say that you're a member of XYZ organization. It's the best feeling in the entire world. So lastly, I just wanted to chat with you guys and kind of reiterate everything and let you know, although these tips are not guaranteed to get you sponsorship or a spot after a rush for a graduate chapter organization, I hope you take what you learned here and apply it to your everyday life. It's important that we as adults present ourselves in the best way possible to receive every opportunity and every good thing that's coming to us. So I hope you take the steps that I gave you and the tips that I gave you and the do's and the don'ts to join your dream organization. And I'm praying and hoping that all of you make it. Just keep in mind, it's an everyday process, guys. The work does not end when you're in. It only begins. And this is a lifelong commitment that you have to be financially, mentally, physically, and spiritually ready for. And if you feel like you are, I'm wishing you the best. I hope that you all get to join your respective prospective organizations. And if you need any help or have any questions, make sure that you leave me comments below, or you can also send me a private message. I'm wishing you the best of luck, and I'll see you next time.